Hello and assalamu alaikum everyone. I'm Kashif Kamran, SBL expert tutor, and welcome you to the day 5 and the final day of this SBL webinar to success for December 25 exam. Now, over the last 4 days, we have been looking at models and theories, and is model the best answer? I looked at the overall importance of the reading and planning time, how to construct a technical answer, and then focus on excelling the professional skill marks. I looked at the top insights from the March June 25 examiner report, and with all that, we're coming to the fifth and the final day, where I just need to focus on pre-seen and the misconceptions around pre-seen, which believe they are still existing since September 23 exam when pre-seen was introduced for the first time. Okay, just let's look at pre-seen misconceptions and just try to clarify them. Because the pre-seen for the December 2025 exam is about to be released 14 days prior to your exams. And your exams is on the 2nd of December. So 14 days prior to that, you will be getting the December pre-seen. So just before that, let's mitigate the misconceptions. Number one, using pre-scenes to question spot. That's becoming quite a common market practice. Students are spotting questions themselves. They're running after tutors to tell them which questions can come in. Now, that's something which should not be the case. Let's see what is the explanation of this given by ACCA. Candidates mistakenly try to anticipate exam questions based solely on pre-seen content. How many times I've seen students coming and asking, do you have a mock on the basis of pre-seen? And I don't know from where these practices are coming in, because the purpose of pre-seen is to read it, is to make yourself familiarize with the information given to you about the industry and the organization, and just making a summary at the end of the day and going over that summary every day for 30 minutes so that you absorb the main content, you absorb the main things about the organization, about its governance, or about its risk, or about its financial performance, or any particular thing which is given to you in pre-scene. So on the day of exam, you can spontaneously recall it and can blend that in your answer when you're developing the answer. But nowhere the purpose is to give you a mock exam, that this is a mock exam based upon the pre-scene. Yes, even when I'm doing the pre-scene analysis, I do give you some hints. I do give you some clues that this can come in, or that can come in, or this topic can come in, or this syllabus area can come in, but I don't spot the question. And I do tell some important technical articles to read through. And in like the previous exam settings, 70 to 75% of my predictions have come true. So that comes with experience, no doubt about that. But the problem is that if you start spotting particular questions, or you go to down to the past papers and you do the particular types of questions, that practice is becoming more of a norm, and that's what ACC is not liking at all. That's what you should be doing with pre-scene. The pre-scene is intended to provide context and background, not to be a direct source of the exam question. So pre-scene cannot be a direct source of exam question. On the day of exam, you will have 4 exhibits. And from those 4 exhibits, you will have 3 tasks. So the direct source of exam question is the information coming from the 4 exhibits on the day of exam, right? So please ensure you read pre-scene, you absorb it, you make notes, you watch a tutor debrief on pre-scene, just to make yourself familiar with the content and what's going on in the pre-scene about the organization, what challenges the organization is facing, what risk the organization is facing, what is the SWOT analysis of the organization. You can just convert the whole pre-scene into SWOT analysis. So you can use any model to debrief a pre-scene so that you hold it well, but not to spot the questions. Number two, copy pasting pre-scene content. We already discussed that on the day four as well, that you have to cleverly use the pre-scene content because that's here. You are familiarized with it. You can spontaneously recall something from the pre-scene, which you have just revised 24 hours before the exam. And you can spontaneously recall some challenge, some fact, some risk, some information which you believe is important when you're developing a point. But just copy pasting. First of all, on the day of exam, you're not going back to pre-scene, even though pre-scene is given to you as an exhibit, because that's a waste of time. because you must have revised pre-scene a couple of hours before entering the exam hall. You know everything in pre-scene. So that's here. It's just about you writing the answer and you recall something that, yes, I read that just like 10, 12 hours ago about a challenge the organization was facing in the pre-scene, and you think that challenge is very good to be put in here. Just put it. Or you read something about the financial performance in pre-scene, and you recall that I read in the pre-scene that the revenue was rising by 20%, and you think that that rising 20% revenue can be really impactful in the answer I'm writing. Bring it there. So copy pasting pre-scene is of no relevance, or even referring back to pre-scene on the day of exam is of no relevance. It's just about a spontaneous recall where needed to blend up your answer. Number three, over relying on pre-scene versus exam exhibit. A lot of times the student just think that the pre-scene is the answer. They will just be obsessed with pre-scene. They will just try to write the whole answer from pre-scene, and they're not even referring to the exhibits on the day of exam. Please, exhibits on the day of exam is 90 to 95% of your answer. Pre-scene can be 5 to 10% in support, but 90 to 95% of the answer has to come from the information given to you on in the four exhibits on the day of exam. Pre-scene is there to help you. Pre-scene is there to give you a context, 5 to 10% in your overall answers. Lack of lack of development of pre-scene information. Either the students are not using pre-scene at all, which is also bad. You have to use pre-scene where possible to develop your point. And I just referred that 5 minutes ago, that you need to bring your understanding with pre-scene somewhere in your answer to develop it well. But just alone relying on pre-scene, that's bad. Ignoring the exhibits, that's bad. Or just copy pasting the pre-scene, that's bad. But utilizing or cleverly utilizing the pre-scene where needed in like 10% of your paper, it's good. So I hope you will go over these misconceptions. The December 25 pre-scene is about to come. I will be doing my debrief 8 days before the exam, which generally gets onto my YouTube channel as well. I hope you will be watching that. And I hope you will overcome these misconceptions and build a better familiarity with the pre-scene. Wish you all the best of luck. And that concludes my 5 days of the December 25 webinar for SPL.